and welcome back to Rugby This Evening. A quick desk update for you first. As well as wobbling, it also does this now as well. So that's nice. Anyway, today in the rugby there wasn't much to report, a pretty normal day. I'm joking, of course. Canada and Namibia, their match was cancelled due to the typhoon. Let's have a look at their pool then, since no more matches will be played in Pool B for Bonk. Yes, Namibia finishing above bottom place for the first time ever due to their better scores than Canada against South Africa, New Zealand and Italy. But they do lose their best ever chance to win a World Cup match. They'll have to wait until 2023 for that elusive World Cup win. However, 3 more matches did take place, and we'll see them now in 80 minutes in 80 seconds.
80 minutes in 80 seconds!
Yes, this is the final pool stage, 80 minutes and 80 seconds of Rugby World Cup 2019. There were supposed to be 4 games, but now there are only 3. Let's see them now. Tonga, USA, Uruguay, Wales, and Japan versus Scotland. For Tonga in the US, the win there will be the first win for either team in the tournament. Wales expected to steamroll the Uruguayans, and then Scotland, Japan. We all know what the Scots need. They need a win. They need a bit more than that, but we know the permutations because we watched yesterday, didn't we? Good. So could I have seconds on the clock, please? Thank you. And here we go. The dream start for Scotland. Russell scores. Laidlaw converts at 7-0. Great start for them. Penalty miss from Tamora. They tried to get back into it with a penalty, but it didn't quite work. First try for Wales. It took 16 minutes for Wales to get a try, but they lead 7. They'll expect more. It's a first try for Tonga as well. They get into it. It's 7-0 there. Takalua converts. What a great tournament he's had off the tee. Very understated. Matsushima has scored for Japan. They're back into it. Tamora converts at 7-all. Scores are level in that big game. Wales, they've conceded a penalty from Felipe Berchesi, who scored it. Of course he has. What a guy. USA, Mike Teo. We'll hear a bit more from him later. He's a short guy. Keep him in mind. Mike Teo scores. McGinty converts. And Teo scored another one. The same guy, Mike Teo. McGinty misses this time, but it's 12 points to 7 to the USA. And Japan have a second try. That's pretty crucial. 14 points to 7. It's been converted. Scotland are falling behind a little bit. And a little bit of time goes by. Scotland, they're not really performing too well. Japan are on fire. They've got a penalty now, the Japanese, but it's been missed. Another miss from Tamora. He's missed 2 penalties. That's 6 points already gone begging for them. Uruguay have another penalty and not made the headlines, but Uruguay, they're within 1 point as the halftime whistle blows for them and for USA Tonga. But just before halftime, Japan have scored a 3rd try. It's Kenki Fukuoka who scored. It's been converted by Tamora. He has no trouble for the conversions, and Japan lead 21-7 at halftime. Wow. Japan and Scotland now have a lot of work to do. Scotland, they'll have to win by more than 7, you'd have thought, because Japan look well on course for scoring their 4th try. And Scotland, they'll have to get 4 tries as well, you'd have thought. But we'll see how that one turns out now, because Wales are back in their game with a penalty, but Halfpenny's missed it from right in front. He's drifted a little bit right there. Japan have a 4th try. Japan have a 4th try. It's Kenki Fukuoka again. Tamora has scored a conversion, and now it's 28 points to 7. Japan are steamrolling the Scots at the moment, and Adams has scored for Wales. He's been very, very prolific indeed. Scotland, they need a comeback, but I need to keep talking about Wales because they've got a conversion against Uruguay. They only lead by 8 though. And Scotland, here we go. It's the comeback. They're coming now. WP Nell scores for them. It's converted and it's 14-28. Can Scotland do the unthinkable and get back into this game? Well, not only get back into it and then win by 8 and then do... And Tonga, they're back in the game. There's been very quiet between USA and Tonga recently, but after about half an hour, Tonga have a penalty. Takalua again on target. And we're back with Scotland. Zander Ferguson has scored and they're within 7 after Finn Russell converts, replacing Laidlaw with the kicking duties. Tonga have scored again and again for Tonga. That's a huge moment. In about 4 minutes or so, Tonga have put on 14 points against the Americans. It's now 24 points to 12. Tonga lead that one. And they look like they might be taking the win. And the only win from them, the win. And Uruguay have received a yellow card, and it's a penalty try for Wales. Well, with about 15 minutes to go, Uruguay were 8 points behind only, but now Wales perhaps starting to pull away now. It's 15 points. But Uruguay have scored with only 14 men on the pitch. It's Kessler who scored, but Chese, of course, he scores a conversion. Why wouldn't he? But Thomas Williams, their patting tries back and forwards, Uruguay and Wales, converted by Halfpenny. It's 28-13. It's gone quiet from Scotland, though. Their comeback seems to have been quashed. They don't have much time. It's only about 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left for the USA as well, and they've scored to come within 5 points of Tonga, and it's very close indeed. And Tonga scored just on the brink of full time. We're keeping half an eye on Scotland because they're not scoring anything at the moment, and it's been converted. So Tonga win that one. They take the points, and it's full time for Scotland against Japan. They've lost. They're out. Wales, meanwhile, we have to mention them. They've scored a fifth, and it's an ego boost try, a fifth try against Uruguay. They must be very proud of themselves. 35 points to 13. But yeah, no one cares about them. Scotland have lost. It's gone 21-28. Japan have won. They've won all the games in their pool. They're through to a first ever quarter-final. Scotland knocked out before the quarters for the second time in history. I'm going to combust, so I'm going to say this has been 80 minutes in 80 seconds.
80 minutes in 80 seconds.
It'll be the first time since 1999 that a new side has made the quarter-finals. This is terribly exciting. Now then, let's have a look at the other pools first. Wales, of course, top theirs. Uruguay down in last place, but they've really done themselves credit and shown me that there's more to life than anything but Felipe Bacchesi. Pool C, also, here we are. Tonga taking fourth place. USA, bottom of their pool for the second tournament running. It was a good contest between the Tongans and the Americans today, but Tonga probably deserving that fourth place after some solid performances, certainly in the second halves against Argentina and France. But then this is your story. Pool A. Japan win all 4 games. What an incredible achievement. The first time a Tier 2 nation has done that. So Japan will compete a quarter-final with South Africa next weekend. The other quarter-finalists are New Zealand, who will play Ireland, Australia versus England, and France versus Wales. But we'll have a look at those matches and preview them a little bit in the midweek. But first, let's have a look at the last skills tests from celebrity guest Helen Jacobs. Helen, do you understand what you're doing today? This is passing distance.
Yeah, I'll say I'm not ready.
Are you sure? No, Okay. Let's go straight on to skills test number 5 then. Advanced kicking act.
Listen up, Helena. You better not lose to Bear Grylls. Or else.
Or else what?
Or else I'll kill you.
I already been dead 21 years.
Well, you'll be dead in another 21 years.
You'll be dead 21 years.
What are you saying?
I'm speaking total sense right now.
That was weird. Okay, Helen, this is advanced kicking accuracy.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
You're still holding your tennis
I'm pretty
racket.
positive on this one.
In fact, could you give your tennis racket to the cameraman, please? Thank you. Okay, so you're kicking the ball against that post. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's the end of her skills test. I award her a minus rugby ball shake, which I don't know how to do. We've listened to your suggestions, and now it's time for XVVXV. And today it is the shortest 15 against the tallest 15. Yes, this is XVVXV, and was once again chosen by you, the sweet audience, so you better enjoy it. Let's start first with the shortest 15. No real stars in the front row. Uruguay's Juan Echeverria joins Fiji's Mesolami Delacoto and Tonga's Ma'afu Fia. Hooker Delacoto is the smallest man in the pack at 171 centimetres. Second rows are, of course, traditionally the tallest players on the pitch. Another Uruguayan in Diego Magno joins Japanese-sounding Japanese lock Vimpi van der Walt. In the back row, number 8, Fotu Lokotui of Tonga joins Namibian Tomasao Forbes and Georgian Georgi Tikalashvili, who may or may not sound like that when you can actually pronounce his name. The biggest star so far then is very impressive Japanese scrum half Yutaka Nagare at 166 centimetres. He joins Fijian Aliveriti Veitokami in the halfbacks. In the centres, 2 Uruguayans, Uruguay really filling this team, Agustin de Acote and Juan Manuel Cat. Cat in particular has really impressed in the pool stages of this tournament. Another Uruguayan in the back three, Federico Favero, joins double try scorer today, Mike Teo, and South African star Cheslin Kolbe. Kolbe surely the most renowned player in this team and the only representative of a Tier 1 country. There we go then, some exciting backs for the shortest 15, although it will be interesting to see how their forwards measure up against their larger counterparts, which is now the tallest 15, begins with Eric Lay in the front row. The American stands at 193 centimetres. He's joined by Scottish hooker Stuart McAnally and All Black prop Angus Ta'avao. Already there's more Tier 1 representation in this team, only in the front row. Two more giants from the Southern Hemisphere giants then. Rory Arnold of Australia joins R.G. Snyman of South Africa. Snyman, of course, part of a very strong South African lock unit. Really impressive in these opening exchanges of the tournament. In the back row, another South African, Peter Steph de Toit, and Australian Lukan Salakea Lotu. They join Cam Dolan of the USA, another Haiti American. Excellent halfbacks for the tallest 15 as well. Conor Murray and Ben Volavola. These two players do not match each other in style, but are both undoubtedly stars in their own right. In the centres, Chris Farrell of Ireland joins Tamaz Michalidze of Georgia. Michalidze nearing 2 metres in height, a towering Georgian whose name again is a real challenge. Fijian Joe Fokonasinga of England joins Fijian Naa Fevalu of Fiji on the wings, both pushing 2 metres, as well as Geordie Barrett, who's put in some destructive performances against the lesser nations in the pool stages. There we go then, talent across the field for the tallest 15. And I'm going to call it now, if they played in a match, the tallest team would probably win there. Although the likes of Nagare, Cat and Kolbe would most likely make it into the other team if it was a composite. This has been XVVXV. Thanks, Jack, for that suggestion. Everyone else, send yours in. We'll endeavour to make them. It would be time to make some predictions now, but there are no games till Saturday. Whatever shall we do? I'll tell you now. We'll be back on Wednesday evening for a quarter-final preview show. We'll do some of the normal stuff as well there, of course. So, it's time to look at what you predicted for today. 50-50 it was for Tonga versus the USA and 50-50 for Japan versus Scotland. Well done if you said Japan and Tonga there. 100% said Wales, of course, but that goes without saying. Head and Heart, move on to that and that. Head only got 2, Heart got 3. Can Heart close the gap in the knockout stages? It remains to be seen. Yes, these are the knockout stages. Things are getting serious. Only 8 more games left in the tournament, stretched out over the next 3 weeks. We'll have episodes every Wednesday and after every match day, of course. But it does mean there's a bit more time, so any suggestions, any skills tests you want to see, any 15s, any sketches, anything, send in your suggestions, comment, send messages, and the like. We'll see you then on Wednesday for some more of Rugby This Evening. And I'll work on my sign-offs. Bye. Subscribe. More videos. Latest video. Japan!